Turki Al-Sheikh has made December 21st the official date for the Oleksandr Usyk vs Tyson Fury rematch. This guy Turki has so much money coming from Saudi that he can just click his fingers and make any boxing fight in the world happen. It's kinda crazy when you think about it. Crawford vs Canelo? No problem, it's done. Wilder vs Zhang? He made it in a flash. Fury vs Usyk for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, the first time an Undisputed King has been crowned in over 25 years, Turki gets the fight over the line at long last. I do kinda hate the trend in boxing where mega fights take ages to become official, but then due to a legally binding rematch clause, the second fight gets made in a matter of months. The involvement of Saudi Arabia in boxing is hopefully going to mitigate the time it takes to get these blockbuster boxing events, but still. So we have the Fury vs Usyk rematch officially underway for the end of the year, and it's going to be absolutely thrilling. I personally would have hoped for a rematch between Usyk and Fury after Anthony Joshua fought Fury and Usyk fought, I don't know, Deontay Wilder or someone of that caliber, but that's either here nor there. I'm just glad the rematch didn't take too long to develop and actually announce. Boxing fans are rather split on the first Fury-Usyk fight, so I'm curious to see if a rematch will be any different or more of the same from both fighters. 99% of fans agree that Usyk won the fight, fair and square, and it was the correct decision to give out on the night. Now, the wideness of the scorecards in Usyk's favour, and if the fight should have been stopped in round 9 when Usyk was really pouring it on Fury, have been up for debate since the fight. I personally have Usyk winning the majority of the rounds. Rounds 1, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 I thought were rounds that Usyk won. There were quite a few swing rounds that could have gone in either man's direction, and that will cause endless debates with boxing fans on who actually won those rounds. No matter how you scored for fights, I thought it was close enough for an immediate rematch. Again, it's not the fight that I would ideally make for Usyk and Fury at this time, but it was inevitable, and I'm ultimately looking forward to them running it back. It was a competitive fight, until about round 9 when Usyk almost stopped Fury. Although you could justify the referee ending the fight and waving it off, I'm so fucking glad he didn't, and that's mostly because of what Fury would potentially say after this hypothetical stoppage. The truth is that Usyk was getting outboxed by Fury in the middle rounds, and even though Usyk was trying his best and getting shots in here and there, Fury was kinda making it look easy. It had been fairly even at the start of the fights, but then Fury flicked the switch, understood Usyk's timing, and was outlanding him. If Usyk came back and just knocked Fury out in round 9 after getting dominated during those middle rounds, I bet you Fury's response would be along the lines of, I was outboxing Usyk and making him look stupid until I got clipped. This is heavyweight boxing after all. He would say that Usyk just got a decent punch in and that in a technical boxing match, Fury wins all day long, blah blah blah. That being said, that's not the result we got, because Usyk got the better of Fury and won the back half of the fight on points. I have no fucking clue how it happened, and when I was watching this live, I was legitimately stunned. With Usyk outboxing Fury for most of the later rounds after the knockdown, there can be no excuses from Fury. Tyson was outboxing Usyk after a dead-even first couple of rounds, but then Usyk came in, hurt Fury, and then started really outboxing him. That being said, the fight was still very competitive besides that knockdown, and there was an ebb and flow to this contest which made it very compelling viewing. Usyk got the better of Fury, then Fury was sticking it on Usyk, then it swung back around when Usyk got the job done in the last few rounds. There was a constant back and forth, and even though there was a rightful winner in Usyk, if they fight each other for another 12 rounds, I'm all fucking in. During the middle rounds, there was a real concern that Fury might win, and in a second fight, it can still go either way. Both guys are supremely talented, and Usyk beating Fury twice is not a foregone conclusion. Far from it actually, as demonstrated within the fight itself. We've also got to keep in mind that Fury is now coming off the first loss of his career, and I think that'll affect him positively for the rematch. When Francis Ngannou pretty much beat Fury and then Tyson was essentially given a decision, there was a ton of embarrassment from the Fury team after. I mean, there must have been. That fueled him for the Usyk camp, and by the end of training, he looked shredded, for Tyson Fury's physique at least, and he seemed eager to win. He didn't get the result as Usyk beat him, but still, there were positive changes made in Fury's training and team after Ngannou knocked him down and made him look like an idiot. The same will happen with this Usyk rematch after the latter beat him. Usyk is a more consistent boxer than Fury by far, but Tyson rises to the occasion and of his opponents, and the performances he had against Usyk vs Ngannou were night and day. I'm just also not too sure how much Usyk will improve come December, because he's already pretty much a perfectly consistent boxer who had less holes in his game plan than Fury during the fight. As for my prediction on who will win the rematch, I have no idea, to be honest. If I were to bet on it, if there was a gun to my head, I would predict Usyk to win again, just because that guy seems unbeatable. Coming back from those middle rounds, man, Usyk just oozes that warrior spirit. Although Fury boxed a good fight and looked fantastic from rounds 4 to 7, his game plan felt a bit all over the place. He was getting advice from everyone in his corner, screaming and shouting about what to do, and it didn't seem like there was a coherent game plan from his team. In round 7, it seemed like Fury gassed out, and Usyk poured it on him. I think if Fury alters his tactics and tries to sap Usyk's energy by clinching him a lot as well, he has a decent shot of winning. He barely used his physical advantages, besides his reach of course, and the natural weight discrepancy between the two to win him the fight. I don't remember much clinching at all, in fact, and there were times even in the opening rounds where Usyk was the one putting Fury into the corner. More clinching and making the fight rough would work in Fury's favor if he has any desire to win a rematch against Usyk. This initial fight between Usyk and Fury went literally the opposite of how everyone expected it to. The only ideas I had about the fight going in that actually came true consisted of Usyk starting strong to bank for 3 opening rounds, and Usyk ultimately winning the fight. That's it. Otherwise, I wasn't expecting Usyk to nearly knock out the former lineal heavyweight champion of the world, massive 6'9" Tyson Fury. I wasn't expecting Usyk to back Fury up. I wasn't expecting Fury not to hug Usyk for all 12 rounds. This fight subverted all expectations I had going in, and I fucking loved it. In the modern era, Usyk vs Fury was one of the most masterful displays of boxing in the heavyweight division, and we've got a rematch coming in the same year no less. Besides the matchups that I've talked about before being on the back burner now, and me being a little disappointed in that, I absolutely cannot wait for Usyk vs Fury 2 in Saudi Arabia. I'm not exactly sure who will win, but to quote Chael Sonnen, I do hope that Usyk can add one more for the win column, one more for the highlight reel, and one more for the undefeated and undisputed.